have that balance as a feminine woman is to understand that not society idolizes productivity because productivity, if you ever tried at something so hard, tried to be a certain person or like achieve a certain thing, feminine flow, I'm enjoying the process, I am focusing on my skills and Good morning, lovely feminine friends. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we're going to be talking about the type C woman and what we can learn from her in terms of our femininity. This has been a topic that has recently gained popularity, especially on short form content such as TikTok and Reels. This concept of like glorifying the type C woman or simply laughing about the type C woman or just like simply the conversation relating to the type C woman. And I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity to see what we can learn from her, whether or not we identify with her or we lean more towards like being a type A woman or a type B woman. How can you look at the type C woman and this trend surrounding the type C woman to find out how you can tweak your life to feel like more of a feminine woman, to live more of a softer life, to live more of a flowy life? What can you learn from the type C woman in order to be a more feminine woman yourself? Before we get into the video, I wanted to thank you again for returning to the channel, especially the members who support my channel. I have recently privated a couple more videos over there and I'm working on posting more videos over there. If you want to support the channel by becoming a member, proceeds from that side of the channel do help bring better content overall on the public side as well as the member side of the channel. So I do appreciate your support so much. And especially for those of you who like the videos that you enjoy and leave your comments down below. A lot of other women benefit from the comment section, and myself, I like to read through all the comments as well. So anyway, the type C woman, what we have seen mostly is, I believe this trend started with motherhood, the type C mom being like, for example, things such as like she will have all the toys organized, but perhaps she won't have like a diaper bag organized, or like she will have a schedule for her kids, a system for her kids, but she might forget to sign up for an activity at the last minute, for example, like that kind of thing where like there's a little bit of slacking in some areas, but hyper organization in another. And when we're talking about just like the woman in general, the type C woman, we see things like graphics. I will put some on the screen here where we have like type A, everything is super clean, super organized. There's a lot of like scheduling involved, kind of like that it girl aesthetic. The type B woman will be like cluttered chaos, but of course more of like a free spirited type of aura. And then type C will be somewhere in the middle. For example, she will have her makeup, her hair, her nails done, but the actual like organization of her makeup bag might not be picture perfect. The type A woman will have like a super clean diet. The type B woman will have takeout boxes everywhere, but the type C woman will have something a little bit in between, an organized like home cooked meal, but not necessarily a picture perfect Pinterest worthy meal. Same with like the example of grade. The type A woman will get like 100 out of 100. The type B woman perhaps might be failing a little bit, but the type C woman will have something in the middle, something that is pretty good, but not perfect. And I do want to say that overall, being type A, type B, or type C, whatever you identify with, doesn't make you more of a feminine woman than another type of woman. We are all blessed with different personalities, but noticing this trend and observing the patterns of differences, I thought that we could extract a few key general themes wherever you are at, A, B, or C, and how you can harness more balance in your life. Because a feminine woman is a balanced woman because she moves through life with ease, relaxation, and confidence. She has high self-esteem because she is confident in the lifestyle that she has created. And that doesn't necessarily have to look like type A, type B, type C, but it is not something hyper forced. I recently made a video on motherhood and I emphasized the concept of relaxation, confidence, and self-esteem. And that's what I want to bring into this video as more general themes when it comes to femininity. So the first thing that I wanted to touch on to have that balance as a feminine woman is to understand that not everything is worth 100% of your effort. So again, from the type C woman, we can see that she is pretty balanced. She is not robotic and she understands what is worth her effort. She understands that the myth of having it all is just that, a myth. For many of us, having it all will leave us in burnout and again, a lack of satisfaction with life, a lack of flow because everything is forced and there's just like so much exertion that we don't have any room to just be relaxed. For example, back to the unorganized makeup bag, but the understanding of the type of makeup and the type of care that we need for our skin is just like a real life example of what that might look like from some of you. Not having everything perfectly organized, but having a general place for everything. Having containers for your kids' toys, but not necessarily having everything lined up. And again, I do want to remind you that if you do gravitate more towards type A organization, this doesn't make you less feminine. This is again just learning what we can derive from the type C woman if you lack a little bit of that organization, or, which segues into my next point, you have a tendency to hyperfixate and idolize certain elements of perfection. The trend of that girl, the it girl, whatever current like saying is used to embody of like perfection, hyperfixating on those things can create an idol out of those things and stall your feminine progress. I did make a video on the feminine homemaker. I understand that not all of you are homemakers, but in that video, I encouraged you to essentially create like 3 columns of what would be your idealized like circumstance or like your idealized productivity. What are your setbacks and where you can meet in the middle with regards to your life. This is just like the self-help content that just floods the internet that is more from a masculine perspective. It can be helpful, but you have to understand a middle ground from what you can use from that, but also being realistic. For example, the Mel Robbins like countdown from 10 to get out of your bed. This can help you be productive, but also incorporating elements of a softer life, of a feminine life, like I mentioned in my spring femininity video of opening the blinds, helping you ease into your day, perhaps having an alarm that goes with your sleep cycle. This is an example of like a middle ground where you can find and harness more of that type C woman energy. Society idolizes productivity because productivity is often associated with more monetary gains, but in order to live a feminine lifestyle in a modern context, many of us might have to let go of that perfection because it creates more decisional fatigue. And yes, there might be sacrifices in living more of a softer lifestyle, but when you reach that point where you feel comfortable in more of what a type C woman would be, what is worth your time and where you can relax, you won't care as much about the superficial output idolization of like high monetary value, for example, that society pushes on us. You will feel satisfied in the areas that you are putting the most productivity in, with being realistic that you're giving yourself enough rest. An example for me in how I harness a lot of like type C middle ground energy, so to speak, is being a stay-at-home mom. Is being a stay-at-home mom easy? Not necessarily. But for me personally, doing it all, exerting myself maximally in a career while my kids are little, maximally as a mother, will lead to burnout. So I understand the aspects of my life where I need to live more slowly and softer in order to have that better balance. This might mean financial sacrifices, but for me, it's worth it because I feel the most fulfilled. And when somebody judges me for my lifestyle, I don't really feel any type of way about it because I understand for me, I am living in my best balanced self. If you have a career, this might mean like choosing a location that could mean a smaller salary but has a better work environment. Those are of course bigger concepts, but you can tailor that down to your everyday productivity as well. It again goes back to that concept that I talked about in my laziness video of seeing like what is the idealized perfection version, what causes you to backtrack on that, and where can you meet in the middle to put a healthy amount of effort. For productivity, I suggest rhythms, and this could mean if you are a student, for example, that you schedule study blocks of time to concentrate on different subjects rather than hyper-focusing, idolizing, and having your whole entire life consumed with constant studying. Obsessing over something is unhealthy for everyone. You need balance in your life. If you are a mother, rhythms help vary your day, blocks of time. Again, you do not feel like you are rushing, but you have a designated chunk of time every single day to get what you need done. And then if you don't get it all done within that chunk of time, you move on. It is so good to have transitions and to vary your schedule. My friend Time and Tenderness, she makes homemaking content. She talks about putting a timer on her microwave and she cleans whatever she can get done within that time frame, and then she moves on from it. This will also help you if you're somebody who has more type B tendencies to like get stuck and not start things. You need that masculine container, that masculine structure to a certain extent to get things first, but the balanced perspective of doing it in a feminine way is not hyper focusing on it and enjoying the process of it, enjoying the time that you have to clean. Another content creator I like following talks about the blessing hour that she does with her children. She cleans up her house with her children in that time frame. And yes, it's not going to get you the best results because you're including your kids, but you're doing it in more of a feminine way because you are enjoying the process. You have that masculine structure, that container that is more like type A, where you have that block of time where you're going to clean. You have infused that type B side to create a middle ground in the type C, where you are enjoying the process, still having structure, but going with the flow. Lastly, I do want to talk about the concept of feminine success, and there is an element of letting go the results. I just mentioned process oriented. Have you ever tried at something so hard, tried to be a certain person or like achieve a certain thing, or you might have gotten like fixated on the type of woman that you have to be, that it actually causes so much frustration that you are not reaching your goals? But when you learn to let it go and you learn to trust God, you learn to trust the process, and you're open to pivoting whatever it is in your life, you gain more success. For me, it was in terms of academics. I was trying so hard. I was burning myself out to an unhealthy mental state. But when I shifted, chose a different career path, and of course I ended up becoming a homemaker. But like in that interim, like shifting my career path to working with children, things came naturally to me. I was just naturally productive and I was naturally successful because I let my pride go and I actually focused on the qualities that make me me and where my strengths lie. So any career that I go into, if I decide like to branch out of being a stay-at-home mom, working with children is never going to yield the same monetary value as a doctor. But for me, there will be so much more satisfaction because it's realistic to my talents, what God has given to me. And because I'm living in feminine flow, I'm enjoying the process. I am focusing on my skills and bettering that without hyper focusing on what the world wants me to be. I will feel more satisfaction in my life, and I will have everything that I need because I will feel the most productive in a balanced way for me. Showing up with effort in your life is very important. You do not want to slack. You do not want to get too lazy, but enjoying the process of your life is a very feminine thing to do. The type C woman, for example, extract that to something like weight loss. She enjoys her exercise. She enjoys her food, but she doesn't hyper fixate completely on the results. She understands that there's enjoyment in the process of learning how to cook delicious meals that actually get her results in her body, exercising and moving to an extent that she enjoys. She doesn't feel bad about herself if she goes out with her friends and has a glass of wine, for example, or has a little treat with her kids and takes them out to ice cream. There's again that balance and enjoying the process of whatever it is you're doing. I would love to hear your feedback down below. Again, I truly do appreciate when you hit the like button. Thank you so much to my members. I'm going to end the video there, but I would love to continue the conversation down below. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.